what we are going to get into today. We're mostly going to start with the basics of everything. You know, we'll start out kind of here. I'm going to get into the basics and just make sure you have an understanding of that. And then, you know, some of the specific things you wrote down, I already have a little bit of insight from looking into your irises.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll answer some more of your specific questions, go from there. If we need to follow up with an email where I write down some of these things, we'll figure that out as we go. And I'll also share this recording with you, assuming I successfully recorded it.
Okay, cool.
Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so let's begin first with, all right, everybody's looking at my screen. We have some attendees. By the way, attendees, should you have any questions, please ask, and I will figure out how to answer it. This is exciting. Okay, so here we have on this chart, let me, okay, let me see 1 second. I'm gonna stop this screen share so I can change the slide. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, let me talk first about what this is and what this isn't, just to help out a little bit there. Matt, are you seeing my screen?
No.
Okay. All right. This is not there. Okay, there we go. There is Leah. That's who I want to be seeing. Okay, here we go. Back to my screen here. Just as a little disclaimer, you know, this is not what this is. It's a personality and genetic constitution assessment. So whenever I use the word constitution, I'm talking about, you know, our genetic type, our personality type, our iris type. So just so you know, that's what I'm talking about. And that's the main thing that we're going to focus on, especially through a photo. We'll focus on your constitution. So this is an interpretation of the different fibers we see in your iris. And this is a discussion of, you know, your personality type in ways that you might be thriving, ways you might feel challenged, so on and so forth. So what this is not is, you know, I can't read your mind. I can't tell your fortune. I can't channel spirits. Well, that one's debatable, Leah, okay? You know, this isn't necessarily health recommendations or a health diagnosis, right? I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose disease. But what we'll be sharing is just different ideas that similar constitutions have been implementing to feel their best and alleviate any similar symptoms. So, you know, no mental imbalances. I can't predict the future. I can't tell if you're lying, and I can't tell when you're going to die.
Okay.
I think it's good. Okay, so what is iridology? You probably already know this, but it's always fun for me to kind of review that, you know, it's the study of just the colored part of the iris, right? So the same way our eyes take in the world and experience it, we see our inner world out through our eyes, like a dashboard on the car. So essentially, you know, as we can, so I have this another screen over here. So essentially, as we can see on this screen here, the eyeball was original brain tissue when we were forming in the embryo. So it's like it's our brain connected straight out here on the outside. It's connected by the most complicated nerve fiber in the body. And so it's just kind of giving us information back and forth about the state of the tissues of the body. You know, are they inflamed? Are they toxic? Are they congested? So on and so forth. So that's what we are seeing. All right, and now we have your irises here.
It looks so scary.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is your first impression? So you said scary. Why?
No,
why
it looks a bit like a reptile's eye because it's so, I don't know, green. Yeah. I mean, I read into it a bit, and I think the orange circle around it means that I have traces of, what was it, some heavy metals, but I'm not. Sulfide, is that it?
So yeah, I was thinking, you know, the word sulfur is something I would use too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we're a very similar constitution. I had the same
Yeah.
reaction when I saw my eyes. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. Like, woo.
Okay, so I analyzed your irises before this call, and
Yeah.
we will go through it. And like I said, I'm going to start a little bit at a higher level and move down.
Yeah.
So you are a blue iris. Although you show some other colors, there's only brown, blue. There is a mixed iris, but we're not seeing a mixed iris here. We are seeing that you are truly a blue iris underneath all of it.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? The blue irises are the sensitive immune system, lymphatic system constitutions. Okay. Yep.
Yes.
We have other markings in your iris that show us you definitely have a sensitive lymphatic system, and that's definitely one of your areas of opportunity that we'll discuss. Yeah. So, this blue-eyed constitution, they're prone a little bit more towards mucus, congestion, colds, flus. They're sensitive to maybe chemical smells and artificial smells, so on and so forth. In their personality type, they're a little bit more expressive and open than the darker eyed constitutions who just more naturally keep to themselves. I call them actually a guard constitution. It sort of speaks to how they are. So, you're on that opposite end of the spectrum. So, we know just from the fact that you're a blue iris that like I said, your immune system is going to be a little bit more sensitive, in your body and your constitution.
Yeah.
So, other things. Now, when we look at the iris, one of the ways we tell constitution is by the structure of the fibers. The easiest way to talk about the fibers is to compare them to actual fabric type. So on one end, you have silk fabric, which is really tight, doesn't have any openings in it. On the other end, you have a muslin fabric, like a potato sack, with big holes, and it's loose and it's wavy. When we look at your fibers, it's kind of hard to see because there's some stuff blocking it, which we'll talk about what that is. Yeah. But I can kind of see through there a little bit. You're right in the middle of those spectrums. So you're not, overly wound tight in your body, in your mind, in your constitution. You're not, work, not emotional. That's what that type is. I mean, they're strong like a piece of silk. And then you're not on the opposite spectrum, that they're loose and wavy and completely go with the flow. You're kind of right in the middle. So, sometimes you might find yourself floating towards being a little more relaxed or a little bit more uptight, but you're what is called more of an average structure. So that's another basic element about your iris type. Now, the other thing we would look at is, are you more introverted or extroverted? So, your constitutional type, which I'm going to explain it more, but it's called a connector. It's what I call a connector.
Yeah.
They tend to be both. So I'm going to guess you're probably both, right?
Yeah. I can go to that side of the spectrum and I can go to the other side of the spectrum depending on my environment and also the day, my mood. Yeah.
That makes sense. So that's going to be a big part of our discussion today, is that, tendency for that. Okay. So let me see what else we will look at here. Now, we look at a dominant side of the brain. Okay, we can see that through the iris. So when I look at your irises, I'm looking on my other screen here. We say which iris appears to have the most dominant, most dramatic amount of markings. In my opinion, well, actually, you tell me which one you think that is out of your two eyes before I tell you.
I think the it's more dramatic on the right, but it's more covered on the left. So the patterns on the right are a bit more, I think, extreme, but on the left side, Yeah, so I think is it because they are in the wrong order? Is the right actually the right? Because the right picture is on the left side for me.
Yeah, I know it's opposite with how the chart is laid out. So you're just
Ah,
going to follow the R and the L.
okay, okay. So the yeah, I think that if I go by the pattern, then I would say the right eye is more extreme.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That's what I wrote down. And I also see what you're talking about, that the left eye looks a little bit more covered.
Yeah.
It also just might be the photography. So this would be
Oh,
something that, we'd really have to tell in person. But I
okay.
agree that I think the right iris is a little bit more dramatic, okay?
Mm-hmm.
What that means is the right eye is going to correlate with the right side of the body,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to correlate with the left side of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So in this instance, we would say you're showing more left brain dominance. So this
Mm-hmm.
would be maybe more of linear thinking, analytical thinking, liking to really mentally process things.
Yeah.
Maybe not as creatively, as emotionally. It's more.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that before. I'm not really sure if like in what way I do this because I base my decisions solely on intuition.
Okay.
So, but I am analytical as well, I guess. But yeah.
So I think that's due to these spikes that we see. So this is another interesting dynamic of your personality type. And I want to say, hey, Morgan, I just saw somebody sign on. Okay. So let's keep that in our mind, that you're like, yeah, I feel kind of what you're saying, that analytical thing, but hey, I know I'm intuitive, and
Yeah.
so I decide to base my decisions off of that. So I think that's because of your connector constitution, which I think it's a good time for us to move into that, because those are some of the the more higher level basic things about your iris. So
Yeah.
you are a connector, and I'm going to show you why. You have a second constitution you're also showing, which I call a retainer. And you
Mm-hmm.
already pointed out one of the reasons why you're showing that constitution. So I'll tell you that one after.
Mm-hmm.
All right, to stay on track, I have some note cards here
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not very good at staying on track. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the connector constitution. The connector constitution, the reason we know that you are this is because we've already talked about all of those spikes you have radiating out from the pupil center.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Now you have a second marking. You have what look like tree rings that go kind of in different spots of your iris. Do you see those? Let me see if I can get a little whiteboard. Oh yeah, I can get a little marker right here. Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so high tech. I can't even believe it. Okay, here we go. Spotlight. Okay. So the combination, can you see these markings?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, we're so high tech. Okay, so the combination of these markings and these ones, are you starting to see these rings now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have them so many places if we really train our eye to see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Those are those two different energy movements you can feel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is the essence of a connector. Sometimes they're on their way out. Sometimes they're feeling like being in, right? You probably have ideas, and you might like to bounce around a little bit, and you like to be social and out and about. And then you probably really need to
Draw back. Yeah.
sometimes, maybe cancel some plans.
Yes.
Yeah, so in case I forget to mention this, because I get all over the place, right? The connector's best friend when it comes to social plans at all is to ask people how long you have till you decide whether or not you want to do something. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's an example, right? Someone says, hey, Dani, do you want to go on this cool trip in 2 weeks? We're going to go to the hot springs and blah, blah, blah. And, when they first bring it up, I'm like, that sounds great. I would love to do that, right? But then that day comes and I overdid it. I went too far out, and now I really need some time to myself to recover, and I'll just cancel on them. So what I've learned to do with my friends is they say, hey, Dani, do you want to go on this cool 2-week thing, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, you know what, right now, that sounds so fun to me. When is the latest I can let you know if I want to go or not? And
Oh, that's a nice technique. Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Because there's nothing wrong with, so the word that you can start using to describe yourself, if you like it, dynamic, okay? Because we're dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you have to allow yourself to be dynamic, which means sometimes you want to go out, sometimes you want to be in. So, you know, one of the biggest principles in naturopathy and natural medicine is it's not the seed, it's the soil.
Yeah.
When it comes to this type of thing that we're talking about, it would suggest that, hey, maybe there's aspects of your life that don't favor a personality that ebbs and flows. So maybe you can change it. For example, maybe you're in a job that doesn't work for somebody who needs to be out and in.
Yeah. Oh, I so get it. Yeah.
So let me keep moving on. Okay. You know what? I tried to make a presentation. I couldn't make it quickly enough. So I'm going to share this ugly thing I wrote. Wait, if it lets me. Let's see. Hold on one second. There we go. Oh, weird. It puts all these markings just all over the whole screen. How funny is that? That's really funny. Did her ball fall off the deck? Okay, my puppy is whining. We're all working from home now, you know? Okay. So we didn't even talk about that. I hope you're well and everything.
Yeah, because of Corona? Yeah. I'm good.
Good.
I don't really buy into it, so I don't think I can get it because I don't know.
Because like here you believe you won't get it?
Yeah, I think it doesn't really exist in the way that it's portrayed in the media. So yeah, maybe I will get it at some point, but right now I will believe it once I have it.
I see. Well, I like for a connector constitution, it's even more important that we stay mentally optimistic.
Yeah.
Because a connector is going to be prone towards psychosomatic ailments.
Yeah. I can overthink anything.
That's also because of that second constitution, that retainer constitution. The connector constitution, since there's two movements, is going to cause you to look at multiple sides of things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then the retainer constitution, that's that more of that congestion that you saw that you were talking about on that other eye, okay? That shows some lymphatic congestion.
Yeah.
So the connector can go back and forth.
Yeah.
Collect information from everywhere. The retainer has a hard time expressing themselves.
Oh, yeah.
So what I wrote down in here is what it looks like to me is that you might be feeling a little bit stuck because you get all this information and then it kind of gets stuck. Maybe it doesn't get processed. Maybe, anyway, I'll get into this a little bit more, but I think this is part of some of the challenges with the overeating and stuff. I think it has to do with nourishment.
Yeah.
And, what the constitutions are doing with that. But okay, sorry, I'm getting really off track. Let me read what I wrote here about the personality in essence. So it says, like the two different markings of the spikes going out in an introverted, extroverted movement and the rings containing in creating more introversion, this type can be anywhere on the spectrum of these two different energy movements, so they're not always predictable. We talked about that. This also creates a dynamic personality that can tend to be a Jack or Jill of all trades. They can be charismatic, connect with all personality types, and see two sides to a situation. They can bounce around in conversations, hobbies, interests, social groups, etc. They might be able to find something in common with everyone and go off in tangents in conversations since they're constantly connecting dots.
Mm-hmm.
So the essence of this is that this is one of these dynamic personalities that doesn't really thrive doing one thing at a time. Doesn't really thrive. So, yeah, so tell me about this. How is this resonating for you?
Yeah, it's I mean, when I'm doing one thing, I'm already thinking about another thing that I could do while doing the thing that I'm doing to be more efficient. This mind acrobatics is also like clocking up what I actually want to do. So for example, I'm in my room and then I tidy up something. Then I get the idea, oh, I need to start boiling the water so I can have the pasta ready by the time I finished cleaning my room. But then there's another thing that's like, oh, but I could also do this. And then it's like, oh. And then I lose track of everything because I have too many ideas in my head of what I could do. And this causes, I have to be really focused. And I cannot, for example, I learned that it's not good for me to talk with someone on the phone and go shopping, like grocery shopping.
Mm.
Because I really need to, my mind goes and scans all different situations. And I take in so much information that I cannot concentrate on talking on the phone and being present.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm training myself to only have my own mind stuff going on and not add someone else's on top while I'm doing something.
Yeah. Wow. If we weren't doing this iridology analysis, we would be bonding anyway because we're the same because I'm a very strong connector. I also have a large amount of spikes and things. And my fiance, he's actually listening to this webinar right now, but I have told him that sometimes I will get stuck because I'm thinking of the most efficient way to do the thing that I'm doing at that time.
God, yes.
Do you want to know my trick? Do you want to know what do you do to like get myself out of that mode? Is I like make a list in my head, right? So I'll be like, I'll make myself make a list real quick and I make myself commit to that first efficient way I thought of doing it.
Yeah.
And I go, step 1, take off your shoes. And I take off my shoes. Step 2, put your bracelet away, or else I'll do it all at the same time.
Yes. Oh my God. And then you break things because you knock something off the counter and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, so you know what? This is great. Let's just do a natural segue into, how beautiful this dynamic energy is and what we can do to harness it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's the most important piece. Also, because we can be so prone towards these psychosomatic ailments, right? Us learning this centered way of living is the key to our health.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's our biggest challenge and the key.
Yeah.
Okay, so I already wrote this down actually. What do you do for grounding, for meditation, for clearing mind? What is in your daily life right now for things like that?
I work out every day, or I try to do some sort of exercise every day. I used to meditate for a couple of years also every day. I don't do that anymore because right now it feels like I judge myself more when I do it and I don't do it the right way. So it's just another thing that adds to me not being happy with how I do it. So I don't do it at the moment, but what do I do? Good question. I don't think I do a lot at this point, but do you know Psyche?
Psyche.
It's a technique how to reprogram your subconscious mind.
Okay.
So I do this every now and then. And yeah, working out is my meditation at the moment.
Yeah, that's a great choice for meditation, because this connector constitution, it's part of what's going on with those spikes.
Yeah.
The rings is sensitive nervous system and weak nervous system a little bit.
Yeah.
So part of what that means is, you've got the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight.
Yeah.
Parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
In our society, probably still yours, and with the constitution you have, you're going to be easily triggered into sympathetic nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Where was I going with that? I was going somewhere. Oh, yes, because of that. So when the sympathetic nervous system triggers, right, what happens, one of the things that happens is our adrenal glands, which sit right above our kidneys, right here on our lower back. They're like little triangles. They sit right on top of the kidneys.
Yeah.
Secrete the adrenaline and the cortisol and the hormones that tell the rest of our body and our system that's like, yo, I'm in danger. There's a freaking lion back there. I need to outrun this lion. It pumps the blood to your legs. It pumps the blood to your arms, to your vision, to your hearing, to everything like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For the most part, though, when we're getting these sympathetic hits in modern times, we're not actually in real danger. We're not actually somewhere where we can run. We're sitting at our desk. We get an email. We find out a check bounced, whatever it is. Yeah. So over time, we get kind of stuck like that. Like we can get cortisol stuck in our system.
Yeah.
So the fact that you regularly exercise is super important for the fact that you're quickly going to get cortisol in your system. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
Now, having said that, there's a point with exercise when it's going to produce even more cortisol.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So what kind of exercises are you doing?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because I started doing a lot of HIIT workouts and CrossFit a few years ago, and then I noticed this. It's not for me. I can do it. I'm quite strong and I'm good at it, but I need something, because I'm so busy in my mind all the time, that calms me a little bit down, but it's still dynamic. So I do a lot of Pilates and do you know Melissa Wood Health?
Melissa Wood Health? No, I don't.
Melissa, she does really nice workouts that are tough and challenging, but you don't get your heart rate super up, but it's super effective, and I really like those exercises. It's like, I guess you can call them they fall in the category of Pilates, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And you already mentioned one of my one of the ideas for a connector.
Yeah.
Is to do your opposite kind of workout.
Yeah.
Do whatever's going to help unwind, ground, and do that. So yoga and Tai Chi are wonderful exercises for a connector.
Okay.
Strenuous exercise has its place and is important.
Yeah.
However, sometimes exercise is mostly about, circulation and lymphatic movement.
Yeah.
Right? Because, a lot of people don't know this, and there's a few people on the call, so I'll mention this. The lymphatic system, which has nodes in major parts of your body. We have nodes in our throat, under our armpits, our groin, so on and so forth. It's got these different nodes. It also has different veins that run throughout the body, mostly along with the circulatory veins. But anyway, it runs throughout the whole system, right? It bathes all of the cells in lymphatic fluid. It cleans all of the cells. It balances the bloodstream. It brings toxins and germs and things that need to be eliminated to these major sites like the lymph nodes, and it attacks them with white blood cells, all that good stuff, right? Well, the one thing, the lymphatic system, one major difference between that system and the circulatory system is that the circulation has the heart to pump it.
Yeah, but the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. You need the movement to keep it going, right?
Yes. Do you have any other ways to move the lymphatic system?
I dry brush my whole body every morning, because I figured that I have this. And ever since I do this, I don't have, when you don't have cellulite, it's not like cellulite as you know it, but you have it all over your body, like little hints of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you touch your skin, you're like, how can I have cellulite on my arm? This is awkward. Mm-hmm. So ever since I started the dry brushing, it got better and it's more smooth.
How long have you been doing the dry brushing for?
Probably a year.
Okay.
A year and a half, something like this.
Okay, good. So that was going to be one of my major recommendations for you, for the exact reason you said. For those of you on the call, she mentioned another way to move and clear the lymphatic system, which is she's manually doing it with a dry skin brush in the direction of her heart before she takes a shower. And that is another way that those lymphatic veins are moving. And, the cellulite that you're alluding to, the reason, we're seeing that in your iris, is that congestion. That's exactly what that is. And so, cellulite has a few different origins and reasons, but one of them is this fluid imbalance, which would be part of the lymphatic system because it helps to keep the balance of fluids. And then also, sometimes cellulites are evidence of some toxins that are kind of stuck. They're having a hard time making their way out of the elimination organs. Yeah. The colon, the skin, the lungs, those are all the organs that get toxins out. Yeah. So
I had last year I had a really bad rash all over my body, and I never had this. It's like it came out of the blue, and I looked like, I don't know, I walked through a forest and got stung by 1,000 mosquitoes. And I just had it a few weeks ago again. And it's so weird because I read about it, and I read about the toxins in your under your skin that they're trying to escape. So I'm wondering why they don't escape through another organ. Why do they have to do it via the skin? So
I'm so glad you asked that, because that is what's going on with your skin. I know what's going on. Well, I think I might know what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So back to this connector constitution. Gosh, I shouldn't have been sitting on a spinny chair. I'm like a little kid spinning around. But that totally fits my personality if you really got to know me. Okay, so let's look at this here. Okay, right here, this circle that I'm drawing, this area is our stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then this more jagged, more pronounced line here shows us the condition of our nervous system. Mm-hmm. And, our spine and our colon, our large intestine.
Yeah.
This all the way out here is the skin zone. Mm-hmm. Okay, so first thing to talk about is Herring's Law of Cure. Have you heard of that one yet?
No.
Okay, so let me clear these drawings real quick and let me show you this. Are you seeing this now, this PDF I'm on?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so Herring's Law of Cure is an important law in natural medicine and in detoxing and in just understanding how the body heals itself. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if we look at this little diagram here with this little guy here, mm-hmm. Healing starts from top down, mm-hmm. and inside out. Okay, so that's the first part of this. So in order for an organism to heal, a human being to heal, we have to heal with our minds, especially this connector constitution, and we have to heal the digestion first.
Yeah.
Then, if we look over here, and it says, okay, hold on, I read this kind of weird. Let me reread it the way I wrote it in here. All cure starts from within out, okay? From the head down, and in reverse order as the symptoms have appeared or been suppressed, okay? So basically what this is saying is the skin is the very last organ to heal. Unfortunately, it's the furthest out. I know, trust me, I've been through this. You should have seen my skin like 5 years ago. Totally been through this. Strong connector constitution, okay? So it's the last organ to heal. The digestion has to heal first. And then, have you ever heard of the term a healing crisis?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know what it means? Do you want to?
I think I know. It's when you heal and you have like the toxins create this. There's this toxin overload, and then you have a healing crisis. Is that what?
Very good. Yep. So autointoxication means the body is holding on to more toxins than it can get out at a time. And when the body is in that state, it will try to get toxins out.
Yeah.
And the symptoms that come as a result of the body trying to get toxins out, it's always referred to as a healing crisis. So it can be, if it's the stomach, maybe it's a lot of diarrhea. If it's the skin, it's a skin outbreak, maybe something similar to what you had, right? If it's the lymphatic system that's having a healing crisis, it's a bunch of mucus coming at once.
Yeah.
I prefer to call it a healing opportunity, okay? So one of the shifts is, allopathy, Western medicine, they typically look at symptoms as your problem and they want to remove them.
Yeah.
What we do in natural medicine and, in this detoxing, cleansing lifestyle is we look at those symptoms as evidence that the organs that eliminate toxins are not functioning properly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now that we get that, let's go back to the connector constitution and let's talk about why the skin stuff is persisting, right? Okay, so let's go back and let's look at the middle of the body.
Yeah.
So let me draw here. No, that's not working. Okay. So here is the stomach zone. Oops. I'm pressing buttons. Okay, would you please draw for me? Okay. I'm just like so impressed that this thing's drawing. Okay, I'll take the spotlight off. No, take the arrow off. Okay, sorry. I'm very confused right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so, all right, I might just have to explain with my words for a second. I can't get this thing to work. All right, right around the pupil, that first ring inside the jagged line, do you see how there's a lot of breaks and circles and holes?
Yeah.
So we're already seeing that in your stomach zone. So what we already see, okay, what does that mean? What's that reaction?
No, it's so interesting. But this is also what I feel like. I have maybe leaky gut or I don't know, but something is not right.
Okay, so that's what those spikes are. It's sort of hard to explain what those radiating spikes are actually doing in the system, but they're creating areas of weakness in the bowel to allow for something like a leaky gut.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, we don't diagnose things, we don't name specific things. We just look at the conditions of the tissues, right? And so, yes, to validate what the information that has felt true to you before, we see that you would have leaks and breakages in your colon because so we were even just looking at the stomach zone and we had a ton of those little breaks. And then that jagged line that we circled before, that we drew, spikes even go break through that jagged line, right? You see that?
Yeah.
That is the large intestine and the small intestine.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
So top down, inside out healing, right? Well, we already see that the inside of your body, first of all, the stomach has some absorption. I don't know if the word issue is correct, but the stomach could use some help absorbing better. That's
Yeah.
already kind of having some weaknesses. And then we see that you definitely have an area of an opportunity in the large intestines to soften bowel walls, remove any stuck fermenting toxins,
Yeah.
and strengthen the colon walls. Okay.
Okay.
So that's part of why, you were talking about the oranger color that you saw, the yellowish orangey color. That does tell us there's some fermentation in the bowels. That's what I believe is happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, because we can already see evidence that the stomach and digestion could use some healing, that is why your skin is detoxing, okay? Because the other organs of elimination that eliminate before the skin does last are also slowing down and congested. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for a little while, there's a combination between, like, as your digestion does start to heal, some of the stuff that will come out the skin is just the rest of the skin detoxing, and then eventually you will get on the other side of that.
Yeah,
But
okay.
for a little bit, that is evidence that you need to keep focusing on the inside for a while
Okay.
to really move the needle.
It's very interesting because I do a lot of fasts and detoxes, and I eat plant-based, and I drink my celery juice every morning. And if like for other people, it seems like I do a lot, but for me, I know that there are people who do even more, and that I can go even more extreme. And every time I fast, I have so much energy. I'm so clear in my head, and my skin improves. But then I'm so scared of eating again, because I know that maybe I'm doing something wrong, I'm eating wrong, and then the system goes back to being normal. So I really don't know. And also, like, I did many different detoxes, but it doesn't seem to help me in the way that I need it.
Okay. So we can see that you do eat really healthy, right? Because if you didn't, the inside of that ring would be really dark.
Yeah.
So your activities are working and helping, okay?
Yeah.
It just you're probably just still on a healing journey. So you probably just don't have the things all the way healed yet, and that's why when you get back into it, it feels like there's still more. That's actually part of this this natural process of gaining energy, removing that which doesn't serve you. When that gets removed, that's usually a healing crisis.
Yeah.
It's usually, whatever channel it's going to come out of. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's talk about this. So I would say you're definitely doing the right things by focusing on healing your digestion the ways that you've been. The way you relax your digestion, the fact that you have noticed that connection between a clearer digestion and a clearer mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so
you've
intense.
noticed the essence of your constitution, okay?
Yeah.
That's a very important thing, because your gut and your mind are going to always be connected, and that is why you feel so intuitive.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Because you can very much feel that exact connection.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about this. During these detoxes and fasts that you've been doing, tell me, what do you do to take care of the rest of your body, like the dry skin brushing? What other therapies and habits do you have like that when you detox and fast?
I mean, I just continue my days as I would if I ate, but I just have more time because I'm not thinking about what I should eat. And like a week ago, I did a 7-day juice cleanse, and then I still work out. Because I have the energy, I'm not lacking anything. And yeah, I actually feel really comfortable when I'm fasting, more comfortable than when I'm eating, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, it does, because what I'm trying to find out is during these detoxes and fasts, how holistically are you taking care of your being?
oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You mean if I also detox from like social interactions or from
Yeah,
if
maybe
I
anything like that. Do you sound healing concerts, get massages,
oh
sauna?
I mean I try to do hot yoga when I'm fasting, so I sweat it out. And I take what's it called, cellulite, the healing clay to bind the toxins,
Okay.
and psyllium husk, is that it? Yeah, so that's what I do to kind of get rid of it, and I do enemas as well.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I guess I could do more on the uh, detoxing my mind part.
Yeah. Okay. No, that sounds good. So you're definitely doing things to open these channels during the detox so that you don't have this autointoxication. Um,
Yeah,
I'm guessing there's probably, my guess is next time you detox or fast, even though you have physical energy,
yeah,
try not to use it as much, because I think maybe continue to work on your digestion.
yeah,
However, shifting focus towards your nerves on your next detox or fast,
yeah,
I think will begin to help, because you're doing a lot of great things for your digestion, which is critical for this connector constitution, okay?
yeah,
Now, the other aspect of that is calming the nervous system, right? Because there's like these two energies happening, right? Like if the nervous system is firing high, the
mm-hmm.
digestion's not working, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And if the digestion is roaring, it's usually because the nervous system is calm. It's those two different fight or flight or rest and digest systems, right? Now, in a connector, what can happen is if we're in this state a lot, and we like to be in the state a lot, and we are in the state in the evening too, and we do a lot of this, we're not allowing our digestion to just work normally and work properly, plus the other parts of our body, right? So
mm,
what I see here is you have worked a lot on your digestion, which is great, and to keep up those habits are going to be fantastic. And eventually your skin this is going to stop coming out of your skin eventually.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I'll tell you what I think you need to add in for that to happen.
yeah,
So it's like you're doing great stuff with your digestion. Now flipping over towards the nervous system now, and
yeah.
knowing that that is more of your gateway to dis-ease in your system than your digestion.
Okay, mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, with this coronavirus, if you wanted to keep yourself really strong and intact, you
Yeah,
work extra hard on your nervous system right now.
okay,
There's other constitutions that they should work on their digestion, or they should work on their circulation. So I think that's an area of opportunity for your health moving forward. So the
yeah,
types of things that, would work for the nerves would be calming herbal baths,
yeah,
things, Epsom salt baths,
mm-hmm.
calming teas,
Yeah,
morning meditation, like
okay,
meditating way before the day gets
yeah,
ahead of you, right? Really grounding. So, your intuitions about more mental grounding, as a connector, you almost can't get enough of that. You almost can't get enough. It's because it's like you'll ground yourself so far, but the way your brain works, you'll go right back out. You know what I mean? So that's why it has to be this daily thing that your nervous system starts to get used to, that you can get into whatever you want throughout the day. You can get excited, you can get energized, you can go anywhere, because the next morning your nervous system knows you're going to bring it in, you're going to wring it out, you're going to calm it down, and you're going to refocus.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and so I think that maybe that element needs to be added in, because you already respect your intuition, which I love. And because you have that entire introverted side that is ready to process the information you're getting throughout the day.
Yeah.
Ready to digest it and quickly tell you what it thinks. Your digestion's working well. It's working pretty well. You know, we can see that in your irises. So the next part you need, so that you can feel less turbulence up here, because trust me, I can relate, is more and more mental grounding, more and more, what am I going to say, like structures and systems that work for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm very efficient and structured about my schedule, so that I know when my mind is allowed to go crazy.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So I think, like, I don't know, if it hasn't resonated for you before that you're kind of two things, like,
No.
has that?
Yeah, definitely.
And how do you do when, like, you feel like you should, okay, let me see, how should I phrase this question? Do you still feel good about yourself when you're relaxing and you're just being?
Probably not, no. I still do it, but then I feel guilty.
Okay, so what makes you feel guilty about it?
Probably my programming, that I've been taught that not doing anything is not good, because it's like your worth is measured by your efficiency.
Yeah, I completely understand that. It also looks like there's a connection between your kidney points and having a little bit of perfectionist tendencies.
Oh yeah.
Maybe. Okay, so that would be something that would really mentally hold back a connector, right? Like, you can see all these ways of doing it. If you don't do it perfectly, you might not want to do it at all.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. This all in. Okay, so this what has worked for me as a very strong connector is, number one, finding value in the ebb. Okay, like respecting the ebb, realizing the sun is not out 24/7, and that the parasympathetic nervous system, it needs its time. It needs its time to rest. It needs its time to digest. It needs its time to process.
Yeah.
And what I started telling myself is, like, by going with this ebb, I'm going to get the best out of myself, because I'm now being able to process everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And part of what's helped me too is what we already talked about, is I've changed the way I communicate with my friends about social plans. I've changed the way I work.
Yeah. Okay.
I've changed these things a little bit, right? To just allow for an energy that goes like this. So part of that is, like, maybe for the next couple weeks or however long you feel like, asking yourself, like, what if it's okay to ebb? What if that's part of how I move forward? What if me allowing myself to ebb allows other people to ebb and take breaks too? Maybe getting a little curious about what it would be like to shift your perspective around it, because as a connector with the nervous system that you have, that rest portion of your life is actually going to become really important.
Yeah. It's like, for me, it's mostly about Okay, let's take this as an example. If someone messages me, or if I get a lot of messages, then I feel the urge to reply instantly, because if I don't do this, then maybe I'm out of the mood, and then I will forget about it for 2 days, and then it stresses me because it's not done, because I haven't replied.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that I don't like this person. It's just I'm doing something else, but I feel like it's always pulling. Like, hey, you haven't replied yet. Hey, you need to do that. You need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. You don't have the kind of mind that's going to turn off easily at all. Okay, so question. What kind of systems do you have in your life to keep yourself organized?
I get up at the same time every day. Roughly, it can differentiate between an hour or so. But and I try to go to bed around the same time. So that's how that's I think my only structure.
Okay. Yeah, that's great for your system that you have that structure. So, I think that's an area of opportunity for you, is a little more
Yeah.
structure. So let me give you an example. I'm even going to pull it up for you. I have what I call a block schedule.
Yeah.
I made this so that I could start to organize like my mind. Okay. So, in the morning, okay, a block schedule is like when we were, I don't know, in high school. I don't know what maybe you guys call it over there, secondary school, when we were in the school where we had class after class after class after class. And it was the last time in our life that we got a lot of different subjects done at one time.
Yeah.
Without really going crazy, because science class ended, then we went to math class, that ended, and it didn't matter if we were done with our math work yet, we had to go to the next class, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the idea of a block schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
you already have the same go to sleep and wake up time. This would have you have blocks of time for other things. So for me, I need to do a lot of things in the morning to ground and feel, ready for my day. So I wake up pretty early. I'll meditate. This is when I drink a lot of water. I take all my supplements. I take care of my dog, because that helps me mentally feel good about myself throughout the day if I feel like I've taken good care of my dog, right? I do the important things. And then at 8:30, no matter what, I switch over to work. And in the morning, my brain works really well.
So, same. I have the same.
Okay. So this is when you would do anything difficult, creative, or important to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I switch over to lunch, and I try to have the same lunch block every day. Again, it's good for the blood sugar. It's good for the nervous system. It's good for just keeping things regular, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that are going to be unpredictable for us. We have to do what we can to keep our organism feeling regular. Lunch is over. Then for me, it's, outings, because I have a lot of meetings for my job. But if you had, a 9-to-5 job, this would be when you did all of your work tasks that you got to walk around, or you got to call people, things that maybe didn't take as much brain power.
Yeah.
That, right? Then I have a house block where I do some chores. I write my list for the next day. I'll put out my gym clothes. And for me, this is the crucial transition to the evening time, right? Because I'm literally making a list for the next day. And if I needed to respond to people on Instagram or on my email, I would put it on my list. Respond to so-and-so, check Facebook messages, whatever, so that it pops in my mind throughout the night. I know for a fact I'm going to look at my list the next day. It's going to remind me to do it, right? So I have been blocking things out like that. And because I have the same structure every day,
Mm-hmm.
I have a system for like keeping track of what I'm working on every day.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter how crazy my brain goes, my body goes, don't worry, Dani, you take care of that at 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
So if, you know, the most important thing is to recognize that this way that your brain works is by design.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And how can you be dynamic but not feel all over the place?
Mm-hmm.
That is a way that works for me to do that, because I still get to have a day that's different, meetings with people and working on cool projects.
Yeah.
Know where to put everything, right? Somebody says, hey, Dani, do you want to have coffee with me? I say yes. I look at my schedule the next week and I know I do coffee meetings in the afternoons.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
okay.
it looks like you're doing great with your digestion.
Mm-hmm.
Top down stuff, I think, is just some of this organizing the structure stuff to just organize mental activities.
Yeah.
And, a morning grounding activity as
Yeah.
well, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the keys to your health, and maybe one of the things that might be frustrating you, because on the periphery of your irises, it's a little hard to see because of the photos, but we do see some like jagged, crimped irises or fibers. Let me see if I can draw it. We see some jagged and crimped fibers, like here. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Let me see here. Okay, here we go. So we see, some of these. Do you kind of see what I'm?
Yeah. Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are in this physical zone of your irises. So it says, there's just feeling a little bit of nervous frustration and a little bit of nervous tension, nervous frustration.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And this right here shows us a little bit of that too. I personally have a mantra for myself that says, discipline eases the tension, because it does for me. All right. Because
Yeah.
I not only have these markings you have, but I also have really tight fibers.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like one of those really wound tight people,
Yeah.
and if I'm disciplined about my mental structure that I do,
Yeah.
and my meditation routine, I've been meditating every morning for years. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
disciplined about those things, I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel as tense.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay, because that's the other thing. Those rings that we're seeing, this is creating muscle tension.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your spine area right here. That's going right into your spine there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
see this one right here? That's
Yeah.
right into like kidney, adrenal area, lower body area. We've got some kidney inflammation here, so that's another area of opportunity. I'm going to probably send you a few of these recommendations. This call has gone all over the place. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
tell you half the things I wanted to tell you. I love this conversation we've been having, but I want to tell you that a lot of the things you've mentioned about your own health,
Mm-hmm.
I have also seen in your irises, right?
Yeah.
The lymphatic congestion. You're just going to have to keep working on that for a little while.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the lymph is congested like that, it's just a little bit more stubborn to get
Yeah.
itself fully out.
Yeah.
Once it is, you're going to be a brand new person. It looks like you've already cleared a good amount of that.
Yeah. Do you have a recommendation for the hair loss?
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the hair loss. My initial thoughts were circulation.
Yeah.
So I know that you are exercising regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So I would wonder about, that being a circulation thing or not. Okay, let's talk about this. how is your skeletal system? Do you have neck pain, back pain?
I used to have a lot of back pain. That has improved a lot, but I think I have a bit of like my jaws are very tense when I wake up in the morning. And yeah, I still have my back issues. Yeah, but I know that if I sit too much, for example, then I get it. And I have in proportion to my legs, my torso is quite long. So I need to, it's very hard to keep it up the whole day.
Okay.
Yeah. But for example, I never have a headache or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, so as you continue to work on your nervous system and
Yeah.
you know all these ideas you can have for relieving tension, that should help some of the pain. And you know, my thoughts were what I wrote down about what I thought the hair loss was. Circulation, like not feeling proper circulation. So based on some of the other things we've said, or you know, that we've talked about, lymphatic congestion would affect circulation as well. Just circulation in general, you know, nutrients being able to get up there. Do you when you shower, do you ever take any cold showers, end on cold, do anything like that?
Yes, usually I do that, but in the winter it's too cold.
Yeah. I know it can be hard to convince yourself to do in the winter because, you know, an activity like that will promote circulation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not positive why the hair loss is happening. It could be circulation. It could also be because of, you know, absorption issues. So I think there's an area of opportunity to promote absorption because of those, you know, radiating spikes that we see. So this, you know, this line here, the autonomic nerve reef, the A and W, it's hard for me to tell because it's a photo, but it looks a little bit elevated.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So that's some glandular stress. So we know that this nervous system stress is very true. The adrenal stress, that's all very true thing. But that also tells us that you although you've been doing a great job detoxing the digestion, you have an area of opportunities to be able to soften the colon walls by doing castor oil packs.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you my detox ebook after this anyway, and I have all of these remedies written in there. That one's in there. But, you know, because of what I see in the stomach, because of the markings, and the mention of, you know, the overeating, I'm thinking that part of that is that you're not absorbing all the nutrients that you're even putting in. And probably some part of hair loss, you know, is a little bit about not having our system, not having the right nutrients. So it robs nutrients from other places in our system. Create what it needs, to survive. So it also could be that, right? What I will say is in either case, all of these treatment and remedy ideas I have for you should help regardless of what the actual cause is. Now, the other thing about the overeating is I do notice a connection between the liver and what they call the hand. So it's like basically a connection here. I mean, because of these spikes, you pretty much have these relationships everywhere. But what this would say is when the liver is feeling tense, the jaw is feeling tense. And what relieves the jaw is eating. Right? And so do you crave crunchy foods at all?
Oh.
Yeah.
All the time. I love everything crunchy.
So we have, we've got a great area of opportunity in your liver. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is the liver is the emotional processor.
Yeah.
And we kind of already talked about how you feel emotional, you get intuitive hits, but maybe you keep some stuck inside a little bit because of that
Mm-hmm.
retainer constitution, that second, more lymphatic, congested constitution.
Yeah.
So to me, that would mean that it could be overworking your liver even more on the emotional side, right?
Uh-huh. Okay.
So castor oil packs also really soften the liver.
Yeah.
They're
I actually have a book next to me that is, maybe you know it.
The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush. Oh my gosh, I need to know it because I love liver and gallbladder flushes. Okay, so tell me about it. Why did you pick up that book?
um because I looked into many organs and what could cause my symptoms, and then I found out that the liver is your detoxification organ, and because of my rash, I figured that something is not working right if it comes out through the skin. So I looked into what organs I could help. And yeah, then I found that there must be something with the liver. I haven't done the detox yet, but I'm probably gonna do it next week. And apparently it's gonna flush out those gallbladder stones, which I really want to see.
Done one. They are, whoa, I have done one. And
Yeah.
it blew my mind how many liver stones I passed.
What?
Okay, so all right, so let's talk about this. In as your detoxing progresses forward, here's
Yeah.
what I think you focus on is continue these great things you do with your digestion.
Yeah.
You add in castor oil pack
Yeah.
because softening is the way to healing.
Yeah. Okay.
Softer, softer, softer. They'll release more, release more. Emotions will, everything will release more the softer everything gets. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and now liver.
Mm-hmm.
The liver cleanse drink that's in my book is
Yeah.
fantastic. It's also really immune system supporting right now. It's just like garlic and lemon. It's the one that, you know, it's not my remedy, but it's a liver cleanse drink you could drink
Mm-hmm.
in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
That you would even notice after a week or two.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Leading into that gallbladder liver flush too, it could also help soften things and really prepare them for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that, and now kidneys is the other thing to bring in a major way because of the yellow we're seeing in the eyes,
Yeah.
because of the, nervous system markings that we see. So
Yeah.
the main remedy for the kidneys is a
Yeah.
poultice of ginger, okay? Are you familiar
Sorry,
with
what?
what a poultice is?
No.
Okay, so a poultice is anytime we put an herb, a vegetable, or anything directly on the skin.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
So in this case, you're going to make a poultice of fresh grated ginger,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to put that directly over the kidney adrenal gland
Yeah.
area.
Mm-hmm.
That'll de-inflame the kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
It'll also calm the nervous system.
Yeah.
And that's going to allow your body to detox and heal even more
Mm-hmm.
of the way the kidneys help keep the acid alkaline balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Remove. So pretty much if you continue in your journey and you add in some of these detoxing and healing remedies
Yeah.
from my book, you're going to start healing other aspects of your body too.
Yeah.
My book will also kind of help you start to understand what your healing crises mean and
Mm-hmm.
which organs need attention at that time, like what you
Mm-hmm.
should do to alleviate what.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other main part is starting to embrace the beauty of how your mind works
Mm-hmm.
and creating efficient systems in your world to wrangle it in the right way for yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're dynamic. Try to set up your world so you can be dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Create a little structure so that you can relax. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think like you're going to be well on your way. I think that part of this overeating is the liver that we talked about. Part of it is just, the mental stuff. Keeping your mind going a lot. It's going to keep producing more and more and more and more, right?
Yeah.
But I think you have really great habits and stuff, and you can see that you've done some good digestive healing.
Yeah.
The skin is possibly just almost done healing. That's maybe why it's still dumping out on you a little bit.
Yeah. It improved a lot. It, like last year this time or the year before, it was horrible. So I'm actually, it's still not where I started before I had this detoxification through the skin, but it has improved. So I'm seeing some progress there.
Well, and I have high hopes a liver cleanse is going to show you even more of that. Liver cleanses clear my skin up for like 8 months.
Yes.
So maybe it'll work the same way for you, but it's because of what you said, the blood runs through the liver every 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So the cleaner and clearer we can have all of the thousands of openings in the liver,
the
better. So the castor oil pack will help soften the liver.
Yeah.
The liver cleanse drink in my book.
Yeah.
That liver flush that you're doing is a little bit more dramatic for sure. But it's the season. Now that we're getting into the spring season, it's the season for more dramatic cleansing and detoxing.
Yeah.
Your system seems strong enough that you shouldn't have too big of healing crises.
No, I don't really have them that much.
Yeah. And so your skin, if it's still coming out your skin, it's the saunas that'll help open that. The kidneys, the more you work on the kidneys, the better your skin will be, because the skin is the third kidney.
Okay.
So if you do those ginger poultices, doing your dry skin brushing, doing all these things you're doing, start to work on the liver.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like liver and kidneys, nervous system. Start to bring those into your healing world.
Yeah.
Like what comes up in your world to heal those things, like sound healing concerts are incredible for the nervous system, right? Like what opportunities are going to start popping up in your life to strengthen, heal, and balance those other systems. And then let me see what the last things I wrote down were. You already brought up a lot of these things I wanted to talk about. The connection between the gut and the brain. Pay attention to that. It's gonna tell you pretty much when you eat something if it's good for you or not. It's interesting because when I look at your so you see this, it's kind of tighter in on this side and it's further out on this side. Same with this one. Okay, so these are the insides of the iris here. It made me ask, when I saw that, I'm like, she seems very expanded in her inner world. Like you're maybe very comfortable in your inner world. Very developed inside as a person. I don't know if that resonates. And then it's a little darker on the outside of the irises. It's a little harder to see because I'm not in person with you, but then this would say,
it's like an ocean blue. It's very dark blue.
Okay, very dark blue. So, I would wonder, it's a little harder for me to not see in person, but then I would wonder, what is your relationship with the outside world? Does it feel easy? Does it feel garbage?
I like, this is so true, because I'm really I love being by myself. I'm super comfortable being on my own. I don't need other people to feel good. But the moment I am with people, it's because I analyze a lot. It's hard for me to be, I think I'm always quite authentic, but it's harder for me to stay in that authentic place when I'm with other people than when I'm with myself.
Yeah, I understand. I think it's those spikes that radiate. I think when you're around people, you can't help but feel the people.
Yeah.
You know, part of the connector constitution, you know, when we were talking about the personality in essence, and then I went all over the place, but when we were back there, part of it is the ability to connect, feel people.
Yeah.
Okay, so, okay, this is why your ebbs are important, okay, because you are going to get a lot of information about people, some information you might not have wanted.
No.
You need to go home, you need to process them, and you need to feel okay that you have to do that as a person, okay, because like if you can learn how to process the information that you're getting in social situations, right? Like some of it can potentially be triggering, you know, but like, it's like if you can learn how to process information, reground again, you know, calm your mind back down again, and then get back out in the world, the faster you can learn that thing, the better you're going to stay in your strength. So an example of that is, have you ever heard of EFT, the emotional freedom technique?
I heard about it.
Have you ever tried tapping?
I mean, I did it probably in some guided meditation from someone, but I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really feel a big difference. So I wasn't sure if I was doing it right, but yeah.
Okay, so I think something like tapping is a good thing for you to explore, and here's why. I believe you are getting a lot of information at once, and your mind is very comfortable being by itself, being in the driver's seat, and trying to trying to answer it, trying to black and white analyze it. Where does this go? What does this mean, right?
Yeah.
The longer we live up here, the less we are using the rest of our body wisdom, right? And the more anxiety we end up having because we're trying to put a black or a white color on something that's probably every color of the rainbow, right? Because that's what life is. So personally, because I'm very similar to you, if I go into a social situation, I have to download everything I just felt for like an hour with my fiance. Like I will be like, hey, did you notice that so-and-so seems bad?
Yes.
Okay, right? So, and it can feel like debilitating almost. So I've been doing this EFT for a while. What it does for me is emotions are energy in motion, right? It allows me to emote a little bit, motion some of it out so that all of it doesn't land in my brain to process.
Okay.
So when I do this EFT tapping, you know, I've kind of had to do it a lot lately because with this coronavirus, I have another business that I've lost the whole business overnight. You know what I mean? So I've also been experiencing these stressors, and I'm only 32. This is my first time experiencing, you know, in my adult life, my whole business be taken, whatever, right? So I've actually had to continuously ground myself. So I've been doing stuff like with the EFT is I'm like, okay, I have fear in my system, right? Like I can feel this fear. So I've been tapping it out of my system. Like I've been like acknowledging I have fear in my system, but I still love and accept myself. You know, I wish I knew better, but I still love and accept myself. And then I sit here and I'm like, fear, 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 fear. I tap it all out. Then when I go back to think about it, I just have less emotion.
Yeah.
And I can more clearly access my intuition. So I think that, you know, I've said a million things because it's what I do, Leah. Like I really have a hard time getting to the point. I truly do. But as we're kind of summarizing and finalizing here, I just want to reiterate, there's a gift and your skill to feel all of that.
Mm.
There's a reason why you feel like you need to retreat.
Mm.
The less you fight that, and the more you build your life around that strength, the sooner you're going to feel very empowered with how sensitive you are.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like I walk into a room and I can tell what everyone's issue is.
Yes, what everyone's issue is.
Oh, and you're like, oh no.
Okay, so let's talk about me for a second. That's why I love this work. I found the perfect job for myself because I can study anything in the realm of natural medicine, personal development, communication, you name it. I can collect any dots that I want.
Yeah.
Bring them back here because they're relevant to some of you. And I can connect deeply with people, figure out what their real issue is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am able to work in my strengths a little bit more because I really work on my nervous system, first of all. I work on my nervous system a lot, right? And my digestion. But then for the last 3 years solidly, I have committed to ebbing, right? I have committed to that. And now I can flow twice as fast when I flow. Wow. I can be emotionally sensitive and get triggered, but go home and have my tools to process it, right? So all I'm saying is I just think in our society, our dynamic nature is not necessarily called a strength, right?
Yes.
But we fit just like everybody does. There's a place for people like us. My other business, I'm a charity benefit auctioneer. So I'm the kind of person that I have to get on stage like 15 times a year in front of hundreds of people, raise money and sell items. That works so well for me, right? Because I only have to be on 15 days of the year. I can be ebbing if I want the other days, right? And they need a big blast of energy when they get up there. I can be a big blast of energy. You know, I can save it all up and then blast it out. So, and then I get to ebb back. I get to get all this like emotional information from people at the event. Then I get to ebb back and process for a little while. So, you know, if you start to process this and look at your own life and you see places where, you know, the seed that is you is not in the right soil, it's an area of opportunity because there are job positions and roles in our society where they need a dynamic person like us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, so much. Do you know your human design, by the way?
Human design, which one is the human design?
It's it tells you a lot about your energy type and how you should use your energy best to thrive best. And I'm a projector, which means that I don't have my own engine. I thrive off other people's energies, or like I pick it up, and that's why it's not ideal to have a 8 or 10 hour working day, because I cannot give the constant focus. I have my moments and my mornings like you do too, but I cannot push myself to be, if for example I'm tired, I cannot concentrate.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So I need to lay all the foundations for me if I want to be productive the next day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with me. I'm gonna have to look into the human design one, but yeah, the reason I love this iridology work is because we all have our strengths and we all have our gifts, and as soon as we can start to understand that and build a life around it, we can go beyond it.
Yeah, exactly.
The point, right? Always to be beyond the opposites, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Let me see what else as we're wrapping up. Yeah, I wrote scattered mental energy, indecision, frustration.
Yeah.
Would be things that connected would feel just because of all the spikes we see radiating up into your your brain. And since you're doing such great things with your digestion, it's just healing, working on the nervous system more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're already doing the dry skin brushing, the castor oil packs a few days a week, the kidney poultices a few days a week. Those will really start to help those other organ systems be able to do their job too.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're doing a really great job with your constitution. And I also wrote a note here. It looks like it might be difficult for you to voice your thoughts, but easier for you to voice your feelings.
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Interesting. I'll show you why I said that, okay? Because if I look here, here is the thyroid area.
Yes.
Eyes. And you see how this one like seems kind of congested.
Yeah.
And then this one seems more open and it has the spike.
Yeah.
There. This would be the feminine side over here. So that'd be more your feeling world.
Yeah.
The masculine side here, more of your thinking thought world. So it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, with the coronavirus going around, I have so many discussions on what is actually behind it and how my standpoint is to vaccines and everything. And I have a really clear, I feel very strongly towards an opinion. And I know that it's true for me, but it's so hard to voice it because my friends, they are very scientific and they need statistics, but that's just not how I work. I read something and then it can be from a professor, but if it doesn't resonate with me emotionally, then I will not believe it.
Yes, I understand.
So, yeah.
I understand exactly what you mean. And I feel as though our society places way too much value on mental knowledge, not emotional knowledge, right? And I think that if you ever want to balance that out, creating a structure for yourself to start tracking the things you read, so that if you did ever get in a conversation with one of your friends, at least you could say, hold on, let me pull up the article for you and you can read it yourself. That's what I started doing a little bit, because I also understand things like certain ways. I don't, I can read a study and I can understand it, but I won't remember the specifics.
No, exactly. And then it's hard to argument because you're missing this one number or you're missing this one sentence exactly how they said it. And then they twist it around and find holes. But in the article, it was bulletproof.
Yep. I'll show you real quick, just as we're getting off here, my research Bible, so you can see how I've been trying to combat that. So I have this, let's see if it'll open here. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if this is the form, but I created a Google form. Yeah, here it is. That anytime I read an article or a newsletter, I submit it here in this form. So what does this connect to? What's the summary of this? And then I have a spot where, I would link the article. So then if I was in a conversation with somebody and I was like, no, hold on, I could go into this, it ends up just in a big spreadsheet, right? But I could go in there and I could use the search feature to look up whatever word that I said this thing connects to, right? Like it connects to chiropractic, workouts, whatever. And then I could say, okay, here, read the article real quick. And then it keeps the conversation going. So anyway, that's one of the things I do. I know exactly what you mean. So I guess what I'm, because I'm doing the same thing, I'm working on translating emotional knowledge, stuff that is like in my bones, into a mental output that satisfies people. I'm also working on that. So
oh my God, it's so a struggle.
Yeah. Okay, Leah, have probably given way too much information, like I always do. Luckily, we will have this to watch again.
Yes.
As we are wrapping up, is there anything like really major that we didn't talk about that we want to? Also, please know we can follow up and just figure out how to make sure this was really useful.
Yeah. No, I think we covered the main issues. I don't have many health issues. It's just the digestion and the skin and the hair.
Yeah, you're doing such great things, though. I could imagine that if you weren't doing all of those great things with your digestion, you probably would be having some symptoms, So I
Yeah.
think you're doing a great job taking care of your constitution and just bringing in that nervous system side. I think it's like just a great area of opportunity.
Yeah. Maybe one more thing is there, because I'm eating a plant-based diet, and I feel like ever since then my detoxification has started. And because you hear so many different opinions, and then I was questioning if I should stay plant-based, but my heart and my body just says I don't want to eat animals. So I don't know if there is something that you can see would benefit me, or if I don't know.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. So, in general, the switch to a plant-based diet, a healthier diet, an easier diet, it will create detoxing, right? Because the body detoxes anyway. And in a perfect world, we wouldn't even need to do a detox. We wouldn't even need to do a liver cleanse, right? Because our organs and our organ systems would be working properly to remove toxins, to remove waste. We wouldn't even really have to worry about it, right?
Yeah.
But because of really the way that we eat as human beings, modern civilized human beings, we suppress our detox capabilities because our body is constantly having to deal with the last meal that we ate.
Yeah.
So just by you making the diets more simple, let off the gas. Like when you're driving, you just let off the gas. And by letting off the gas, you freed up energy in your body. You also added in more alkaline elements because you ate more plant foods and more fruits.
Yeah.
Right? So you added in more positive alkaline elements. And when the body builds and gets vitality, it uses that vitality to get rid of toxins. That's the cycle.
Yeah.
So you are probably in that where because you are resting your body so well, you're doing these detox and fasts, you're in a state where your body kind of is constantly cleansing. I basically live in that state too, which is why learning about these different treatments is so helpful, because you can learn if you do need to support your kidneys a little bit, or you do need to drink a liver cleanse drink for a week, right? You'll start to get in tune with that. So what I would say is definitely listen to yourself, because our dietary needs should be changing as we're changing, right? So listen to yourself. You don't want to eat animals. There is good science that has proven you are getting all the nutrients that you need. If your intuition tells you that you need to maybe supplement a little bit, B12, right, is a common thing for plant-based diet. But I will say too, I think staying plant-based and alkaline until you're really feeling healed makes sense, right? Because if it is so easy on the body, you don't want to go in that opposite direction until you have healed it. So if you ever want to take that up a notch without doing a cleanse, so let off the gas a little bit more, that would be mono mealing, so eating one food at a time. It's really great for a connector constitution. If you're ever feeling a lot of mental stress, or you're in a stressful time period, mono mealing is the best thing you could probably do for your constitution. Keep it real simple going in, going in. So I would say, I hear you on the plant-based thing. Keep following your intuition and question, what if some of your symptoms are just more toxins coming out?
Yeah.
What if that is, you know, what's going on with the system? But don't be afraid to change your diet and experiment too, because I don't know. I think the body's in different stages. Sometimes it needs rejuvenation and it needs like a lot of nutrients. Sometimes it needs some resting. And so listen to your body, but we're getting into the spring, summer season.
Yeah.
Seasonally, it makes sense to eat more fruits and vegetables, plant-based, alkaline food anyway. But I guess the only thing I would say is sometimes we slam on the brakes instead of letting off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to detox slowly and gently, because it almost will work better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
To promote a longer lifestyle of slowly healing and cleansing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. That I guess I have to see if I still feel like just eating plants in 2 years, then I can do it. But I have to allow myself to be flexible.
Yeah. The connector is it's not or, it's and. Always use the word and, you know, plant-based or I eat meat, you know, plant-based and sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I think that's really critical for the connector constitution to give themselves a third option. Third option. And, you know.
Yeah.
But so follow up at any time too.
Yeah, but that, I think that was, I don't have any more questions.